Every morning at this same time, over many of these same stations, we shall bring you eyewitness accounts of the war criminal trials at Nuremberg, where 20 former high Nazi officials face atrocity charges. This morning we shall hear from mutual correspondent Arthur Gaeth. He is standing by now in the studios in Germany. We take you now to Arthur Gaeth in Nuremberg.
This is Arthur Gaeth in Nuremberg, Germany. On this, the fourth day of the trial of Nazi war criminals here in Nuremberg, which is still going on in the courtroom below me, the man on whom it is expected it will be most difficult to pin criminal charges, the Nazi financial wizard Hjalmar Schacht, was the subject of attack for most of the day. For a half hour this morning, Associate Prosecutor Major Frank Wallace showed how every youngster in Germany had been forced into membership of the Hitler Jugend. He pointed out how the Nazis controlled all the thinking so that nothing could be said or published without permission of the party. Graphically presented was the training of youth to service for the party, how every able-bodied person had to serve the state in some way so that the country was completely militarized. Then Associate Prosecutor Thomas Dodd laid the groundwork for economic conspiracy. For hours we saw painted the picture in which Nazis, under the leadership of Goering and Schacht, completely mobilized Nazi industry to arm and expand military forces capable of carrying on a successful war of aggression. It was brought out that as early as 1934, Hjalmar Schacht had told the American ambassador Dodd that Germany was committed to war. Described in detail was some of the financial wizard he used. An affidavit by George von Schnitzler of the German Die Trust asserted that Schacht actually was the center of the whole activity and that it was he who secured the support of von Krupp, Vogler of the German Steel Trust, and many other leading industrialists so that they wholeheartedly supported the Nazi war armament. Colonel Etcher of the Czech War Crimes Commission told me yesterday that the prosecution had many affidavits in which these Nazis actually incriminated one another. Even after Schacht fell out of grace because of a personal quarrel with Hermann Goering, Dodd showed from a Schacht letter that he, Schacht, still considered the rearmament of the German people as the prime condition for creating a new Germany. The most debauched-looking of the Nazis in the prisoner box, Walter Funk, was described by Dodd as being a most willing accomplice in continuing the program toward war. Dodd maintained that it was clear from all the writings and acts of the Nazis that they turned the whole German economic structure to war. As I watched the 20 Nazi prisoners over on the bench, it appeared to me that Goering and one or two of the others were not unhappily relishing this day in court, for actually the prosecution was presenting evidence to show that these few men had controlled the every action of more than 70 million people. And time and again, Goering in particular, with a smirk on his face, seemed to puff up slightly as he nodded his head in acknowledgement that he had been the big shot in much of what had gone on. This is Arthur Gaeth speaking from Nuremberg, Germany. I return you now to the Mutual Newsroom in New York.